Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters and friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm very happy to meet you once again in this new episode of Verses in Chapters, Ayat fi Suwar. And today, inshallah, I will speak about the verse number 30, chapter number 21, Surah Al-Mu'minun, chapter of the faithful, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أولم يرى الذين كفروا أن السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي أفلا يؤمنون. Don't the unbelievers see that the heavens and the earth were joined together before we clove them asunder, and that we made from water every living thing, every living being? Will they not then believe? Brothers and sisters, this ayah is directing our intellect toward one of the most fundamental facts of this universe. One of them is that this universe has a beginning. The time has passed when some scientists and some philosophers of the past, of the ancient world, used to claim that this universe is eternal. Today, there is a consensus among all scientists and physicists. The vast majority of them, let's say, they all agree that this universe has a beginning. They call this beginning the Big Bang. The second most fundamental fact and reality about this universe is that the whole world, the whole universe is made from the same elements, from the same matter. The Quran emphasizes this meaning. كَانَتَا رَتْقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. Now, let's concentrate on the words that Quran used. Quran used two major words in this operation. The operation of creation, or the developments of creation. One is ratq, and the second is fatq, and which both are used in dressmaking or sewing. We say that in Arabic, al-khayyatu rataqa al-thawba, or rataqa al-thuqba. The tailor has mended the material or the dress or a hole in a dress. And in Arabic, al-ratq is everything which is joined together. And the opposite is fataqa. Now, fataqa means to separate, to clove asunder. That is what it means. But the sense of these two words in Arabic give a hint of care and control. When we say رَتَقَ الْخَيَّاطُ الثَّوْبَ, that means he used his care, he used his control, he used his management in order to do such a thing. Whereas when we look at the Big Bang theory, they all speak about an explosion, cosmological explosion. Now, the explosion gives you the hint of mess, of disorder, disarray, mismanagement. Is that what happened? There is nothing in this universe that's confirmed this. Indeed, the opposite is right. Everything in this universe infer that it is following very strict laws and precise measurements. Wherever you look in this universe, you find out this reality of order, harmony, management, and purpose also. Whatever you see in this universe, you find these values: management, order, precision, management, and purpose. So one of the fundamental facts that Quran is telling us here is that this universe and this earth are made from the same elements, from the same matter. Now, brothers and sisters, do you think that people in Arabia would imagine that there is something in common between human being, between the body of a human being and the sun or the stars? No way. But now physicists tell us that 91% of the sun is hydrogen, about 8.9% is helium, and less than 1% other substances such as iron. And human body is consisted of the same elements. 65% of human body is oxygen by weight, 10% hydrogen, 3% nitrogen, 18% carbon. Now can you imagine? There is something in common between sun, stars, and human body. They have this hydrogen in common, helium, iron, and other substances. Now, of course, when we look at the history of the elements discovery, we come across so many facts, so many noticeable meanings and facts. What is that humanity has taken so long in order to discover these elements? We know that in the 17th and 18th century, there was this fever of discovering elements. And we can remember here many of the very prominent scientists, such as, for example, George de Hevesy, Antoine Lavoisier, Marie Curie and her husband Pierre, Dmitri Mendeleev, who made this periodic table of elements. And we remember here William Ramsay and his colleague Lord Rayleigh, who both discovered what is called the noble gases, one of the great and most empirical evidence that this world is not by a coincidence, it's not by a random explosion, is that even physicists like Mendeleev, the Russian Dmitri Mendeleev, have discovered that this universe is following very strict laws. He left so many places empty for elements that he did not discover, that he expected that scientists will discover later. And what is astonishing is that he predicted the exact properties and the exact atomic weights of these elements. And later on, about 10 years later, a French scientist discovered what is called gallium, and he claimed that what he discovered does not match with the prediction of Mendeleev. But with further research, he discovered, and the world has discovered, that the Frenchman was wrong and the Mendeleev was right. Today, scientists are able to know the composition of stars by analyzing light waves. They will tell you the composition of these stars. And of course, this knowledge was far away from the people in the time of revelation. But the Quran is stating very clearly that this universe was once one colossal mass. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clove it asunder. The Quran also mentions that man is made from the same material. هو الذي خلقكم من تراب. It is He who created you from dust. In another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. From it we have created you, and to it shall we return you, and from it shall we rise you. And the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, كلكم من آدم وآدم من تراب. You all from Adam, and Adam belongs to the earth, belongs to the dust. So these meanings are serving the same cosmic reality, which is that the whole universe is made from the same element, from the same matter. People in Arabia in the time of revelation wouldn't imagine that the stars above them and the planets above them are made from the same material that they are working on earth. Whereas all they can see from them is light. The Quran has indeed spoken in so many ayats, in so many verses, pointing out to this fact that this universe is following very strict laws. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَالشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ بِحُسْبَانٍ. And it said, وَالشَّمْسُ تَجْرِي لِمُسْتَقَرٍّ لَهَا, and the sun is running according to its strict and measured orbits. وَقَالَ وَكُلٌّ فِي فَلَكٍ يَسْبَحُونَ, all are swimming in restricted orbits. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاءَ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا بَاطِلًا, we have not created the heaven and the earth and what's in between in vain. That is the assumption and speculation of those who disbelieve. And he said, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ, we have not created the heavens and the earth and what's in between except with the truth. There are so many ayats like الذي خلق فسوى وقدر فهدى, and many other ayats. So humanity came to know this fact very lately. The fact that this universe is following strict and very precise laws is a recent discovery. Indeed, the first famous and prominent chemist who talked about what is called the fine-tuning of the universe was the chemist Joseph Henderson, in his book The Fitness of Environment, in which he proved beyond any doubt that this world is following and this universe is following very strict calculations. And he said that if the cosmic constant was 1 or 2% difference than it is today, life would not be possible. And he concentrated on water and the necessity of water in producing life. And we found also the physicist, a very prominent physicist with the name of Robert H. Dick, who said that some forces in the universe, such as gravity, electromagnetism, have to be fine-tuned in order to provide life, in order for the life to be possible. And we also know Fred Hoyle, who wrote his magnificent book entitled The Intelligent Universe. Even Stephen Hawking has said in his very famous book, A Brief History of Time, he said the following: the laws of science, as we know them at present, contain many fundamental numbers like the size of the electric charge of an electron and the ratio of the masses of the proton and the electron. And the remarkable thing, this is what he said, and the remarkable thing is that these values of these numbers seem to be finely tuned for the possibility of development of life. This is in his book, A Brief History of Time. He admitted that things are finely tuned. In other words, nothing is arbitrary, nothing is in disorder. Brothers and sisters and friends, here we are seeing this major difference between the Big Bang theory and the Quranic approach to the beginning and the start of this universe. And of course, when you analyze the two versions, you find that the second one, the Quranic one, is supported with empirical evidences. Brothers and sisters, as summary, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran is telling us some fundamental facts about this universe. It has a beginning. It is made from the same matter, from the same elements. And that human being also is made from the same elements. And the difference between what the Quran is saying and what the Big Bang theory is saying is huge, even though they look similar. Some scientists have, some scholars have indeed interpreted the Quran or this ayah number 30, chapter number 21, as a proof that supports the Big Bang theory. Well, there is no problem with looking at this word and try to find some theories that can explain the start and the beginning of this universe. Indeed, the Quran itself says قل سيروا في الأرض فانظروا كيف بدأ الخلق. Say to them, go on the earth and see how the creation was started and initiated. Quran is telling us that the story of all this creation is indeed embedded in this material, in earth and in the sky. But when we analyze the two versions, we find that the Quranic is supported heavily with empirical evidences. All what we see in this universe, in fair order, management, purpose, but the notion and the intuition that we get from explosion is much different. Is the disorder, mismanagement, arbitrary, disarray, and mess. And nothing in this universe supports this notion. From the very beginning, Quran is saying that this universe was carefully directed toward its goals, aims. Because now we can see the purpose in everything. Everything in life seems to be serving life. You see it in everything, in agriculture, you see it in oxygen, the composition of the atmosphere, you see it in so many areas. There is always a purpose. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, this is very clear, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا مِنْهُ. And it is He who subjected to you, as from Him, all that is in the heavens and the earth. Behold, in that are signs, indeed, for those who reflect. So we see purpose in everything, in every movement of this universe, whether we realize it today or not yet. But the general idea is that this universe is subjected to human beings. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَكَأَيٍّ مِّنْ آيَةٍ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ يَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهَا وَهُمْ عَنْهَا مُعْرِضُونَ. So I hope I have cast some lights on this issue, and to see you in the next episode inshallah. استودعكم الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.